Okay, so good afternoon to everybody. It's really my pleasure to be here today with you. As Luisa mentioned, I'm from the University of Pavia, and especially also I'm part of the EC2U project we will follow, and I'm part of the VP9, which is more about fostering the entrepreneurial and innovation ecosystem. So today, what I'm going to present you is a serious game that I have developed a couple of years ago and I have run already a couple of times, which is about digital manufacturing innovation. Basically, what I'm going to present you here is to provide a quick background about why I came up with this idea. So I will introduce you the challenge that I have developed and I have performed with students. And then in the second part, we will comment the results, what are the main educational impact, as well as the reference theories that are behind gamification, just to see if we were matching the two things together. What was the initial need? Let's say, as a researcher and professor, we are always looking on the company side, what are they doing, what are their needs? And at that time, I had some discussion with few companies because everybody was in this trend to try understanding the new technologies, how they are going to impact the manufacturing processes. So many companies were on this side, but many of them were also lacking competencies, were lacking time to invest in this area. So they were a little bit, let's say, scared to take this step. But on the other side, I had also some students, an international masterclass where we were dealing exactly with the same topic. Because in this course, the students were dealing with digital manufacturing. They have to study the basic technologies that are behind this, and especially everything related to Industry 4.0. And I was also thinking, well, what to do to get more involvement with students, how to make it more funny, how to engage them more. So in the end, the question that came into my mind was, maybe I can combine these two different needs. And then in the end, what I designed and what I proposed was a challenge that was to develop a vision for a smart factory, leveraging on student contribution, but at the same time having on board companies. So I have invited, in the end, three companies accepted to be there in this initiative, in this opportunity. They provided some internal expert, of course, that acted as a kind of mentor. And on the other side, I was matching this need with the students willing to learn and to develop innovative ideas. So in the end, the main goal was to stimulate the creation of new concepts, so new vision about how to integrate new technologies in manufacturing processes in the so-called smart factory context. So in the end, the students had to come up with an elevator pitch to present their final results, their ideas to the companies. More in detail, what was then and how was organized and how was the approach to the challenge. The main objective of the game was to design an innovative concept, as I just mentioned many times, about a smart factory, also leveraging on agile way. So trying to understand, try to prototyping, to design, to get feedback, have a validation, and so on and so forth. In the end, the approach was to have an 8-hour workshop with international students. They were coming from different disciplines, so different backgrounds like economics, management, engineering, even human sciences, social sciences, and so on. And we had also the three mentors, as I told you before, as facilitator for them. What was the gamification part in the end? The gamification part was to stimulate creativity by means of Lego bricks. There is a Lego serious game, which is one approach very quite famous and well known. So I decided to go for this idea. And that was really breaking through, let's say, the way they were thinking, the way they were working, because in the end, this allowed them to prototype, to envision, and to visualize new ideas. What were the results? Because I have already performed such kind of workshop in the past, but without using the same approach. So in the end, as a feedback, I asked to students to collect some qualitative data just to understand and to compare the effectiveness of the methodology. So what I have realized, and again, about the gamification, I used the Mentimeter tool in this way. There was a significant increase in creativity and ability to generate innovative ideas. Also, the possibility to play in some way a kind of game allowed the students, even with the facilitation of the mentors, to get better understanding about the manufacturing technology. So no, let's say, boring presentation, boring speech, but more interaction, more learning by doing in the end. This was also good in terms of problem solving skill, because I mentioned before, the 8 hours, the entire workshop of one day, we have split it in different iterations. So this allowed to have validation, iteration, mechanism, and feedback that allowed them to focus maybe on problem and then to solve problem in the further iteration. And in the end, this also turned into a more collaborative environment for them and created also a great connection and teamwork above all. Just to cross-check also, because there are well-known theories behind what we did, in the end, we realized that the key principle about gamification approach were reached. So basically, when you go for gamification, you also try to have a kind of free risk learning environment. That was really the case. And this was also the case for the companies, because the initial need, as I mentioned in the introduction, was for them to have proper timing to do that, but they don't have. So we have delegated students in some way to do this for them in a protected environment. Also was even important to explore cognitive strategies, so in understanding and trying to develop new ideas. As I also mentioned before, the approach was really good for active learning, because students were learning by the experience that they were building at this stage, even getting the feedback from the different mentor. And in the end, let's say, the game environment provided motivation, because it was funny, it was lighter, it was easy for them to work in this way. So overall, what are the main conclusion and takeaway that I got from this experience that I would like to share with you? First of all, in terms of contents, I realized that this approach allowed the students to have a better understanding about the key concept that we were teaching them for our course. But at the same time, from a methodological point of view, the serious game, and especially the legal serious game, provided them to be a real powerful and educational tool to get engagement, to stimulate an environment for active learning. And beside my experience in this, let's say, limited concept, we know that there is a huge potential for other kind of application, still for education, but also overall in the business context. So this was a quick overview about the project that I have designed, I have followed, that I wanted to share with all of you today. Of course, if you have any question, feel free to ask, or I don't know if we keep all the question in the end after all the presentation. So thanks a lot.